Former student and former colleague in presentation. So, many of you know Roseanna from your experience with her, but you might not realize the breadth of her contributions to the university. So I thought I'd just share with you a little bit of her career here at St. Cloud State. She was hired in September of 1980 for a tenure-track position as assistant professor and director of forensics to the speech communication department, not communication studies. And the college was the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. The dean at that time was Louise Johnson, and the president was Charles Graham. And since that time, she's worked with 8 different presidents, 13 academic vice presidents, and 7 deans. The search committee, now most of you won't know these people, but some of you have been here for a while will recognize the names of the search committee. Bob Kendall, Linda Park-Fuller, and Glenn Stalker were on the search committee. And those folks made a significant contribution to the department, and Linda went on to make a significant contribution to the field. As a forensics coach, she traveled to 10 to 12 different competitions every year throughout the state of Minnesota and the central region of the country. And every spring, she managed her own tournament here on campus. She developed a forensic speakers bureau that sent students from the team out across campus to give speeches and presentations, recruiting not only for the team, but for the department. Very successful program. And during her second year, she, along with Judy Litters, who's also here, started co-advising the Communication Club. And I think, is that the year it started? 1981. So Con Club, the club's been around for a very long time. So not only was she doing all that forensics work, but she was co-advising the club. That's amazing. She does what she needed to do to support students. She engaged her international interest in 1983 by teaching on the university's program in Denmark. That began a series of such adventures abroad. She taught in Anik in 85, directed in Anik in 93, taught again in Anik, England in 2006, and directed again in 2011. Now, I might have missed a year. It's very possible. I'm not supposing to be comprehensive. I'm just giving you a list of things that she's done. She's touched many parts of the campus. In 1988, she attended in San Diego a National Faculty Development Institute on learning how to incorporate Japanese studies into the undergraduate curriculum. And that led to her being selected to be one of the first teachers to teach in our campus that we had in Akita, Japan, Minnesota State University, Akita. I was there for 10 years. She was one of the first teachers to teach on that program. Her most recent international adventure was working with the Association of Turkish and American Communication Scholars. She was the president of the organizing committee that brought a very special conference to St. Cloud called Communication in the Millennium, the 11th International Symposium. A very important conference. She's won numerous awards over the years on the local level, the state level, and the national level. In 1984, she won the Outstanding Young Teachers Award from the Central States Communication Association. In 1987, she received a Professional Development Achievement Award from the university. In 2014, she received the National Society for Experiential Education Distinguished Scholar Award for her work with internships and other forms of experiential learning. So even nationally, she's recognized as an expert. She also received the Outstanding Individual in Communication and Theater Award from the Communication and Theater Association of Minnesota. So national level, the state level, and Minnesota as well. Most of the things I've described to you demonstrate her commitment to her students and the department, but her work on campus branched out a lot further than that. She spent a year on reassignment to academic affairs, was the first director of the Center for Teaching and Learning, and has worked extensively on the employee mediation program. In fact, she was one of the founders of that program and has continued working with it since its inception and is even continuing to work to make sure that it stays successful and remains on campus. Roseanna, thank you for everything you've done for students, the department, and Mary Kalinowski, who is a former student, and she's going to tell you about some of her experiences.
All right, so I guess you know my name, Mary Kalinowski, former graduate of the department back when it was speech communications. Jeff asked me to say a few words, and I'm actually extremely honored to pay tribute to Roseanna. She's a mentor and a friend. Roseanna had a really big impact on my life. she taught me 3 very important lessons that inspired me and guided me through my career. Lesson 1. Make your career your passion. I was really spellbounded by Roseanna. Sorry, you made me all teary-eyed. I was really inspired by her energy when she taught class. I'm sure many of you have seen it and experienced it. And, you know, it was obvious to me that she was passionate about, one, teaching, but also sharing her knowledge with her students. And the true lesson is she inspired me to learn deeply and to apply myself. So number 2 lesson from Roseanna, share your wisdom. Roseanna took great care to help make herself available to her students. She took time to invest in me as a potential student as well. In particular, I benefited from one-on-one sessions for coaching outside the traditional working hours. In fact, some of the best coaching I had was driving to Wilmer when she taught a class there. Lesson 3, keep an open mind. During my college experience, Roseanna advised me to pursue an internship to apply my learnings in the workplace. I first was disappointed because I found I didn't enjoy sales. However, Roseanna helped me to recognize that my skills would be transferable to a job that was better suited for me. I ended up pursuing a career in training and development, and as a result, I now strive to keep an open mind and realize that each experience is valuable on the path to a fulfilling career. Roseanna was and continues to be a great sounding board for me as I navigate my life. Roseanna, sorry, you made me get emotional. Thanks for sharing these lessons with me, and I look forward to learning new lessons from this new chapter of your life. And I know that some of the inspiring learning will come from storytelling because it's such a great skill that you have. I'm lucky to have found you as a mentor and a friend, and thanks again for having a positive impact on my life, and I wish you joy and freedom to explore what life in retirement has to offer. So thank you.
Next, we'll hear from former colleague Art Rogers.
Well, first I'd like to say that Roseanna went through a series of presidents, vice presidents, deans, and actually went through 5 department chairs before she did it herself. She's damn tough on administrators. Jeff, thank you very much for the opportunity to pay tribute to Roseanna on her retirement from 36 years of service to St. Cloud State University. Roseanna's life in many ways is a fairy tale story. In fact, she finds solace in a place called Whispering Woods, and she resides in a dollhouse. Roseanna's story is about a country girl from rural Ohio with dreams, smarts, abundant talent, and lots of Italian charm. Add to that a sense of adventure, perseverance, and taking whatever the challenge before her it comes, retaining a child's sense of awe, and always remaining a person of integrity. That's the Roseanna Ross I've known for 36 years. For those of us who worked closely with Roseanna, we know how fortunate we were in 1980 when Roseanna's father, with a U-Haul in tow and a Plymouth Duster, brought Roseanna, her daughter Colette, and a parakeet to central Minnesota to pursue her dreams. Okay, I have no evidence that coming to Minnesota was a dream. The good news, she stayed, and the rest is history. And let's just say Roseanna leaves a huge footprint at SCSU. I don't have time to talk about all of Roseanna's accomplishments. Jeff already outlined some of what Roseanna has done. And what I'll focus on are 2 attributes that I really appreciate about Roseanna. First, she is a dreamer who makes dreams come true. And I'm envious of what she has accomplished. And second, she's a consummate professional. Roseanna is a professor of communication, but even more so, she's a model of what she preaches. As a teacher, advisor, colleague, and departmental and university leader, Roseanna has applied and demonstrated her communication skills to benefit many in this community. Let's look at Roseanna the Dreamer. Some of you may receive Roseanna's annual holiday letter. These letters are not short notes highlighting the prior year and focusing on her family's accomplishments. Roseanna's letters are 3 to 5 pages long, and she shares her life journey and some soul searching. When I read her letters, I sense a yearning for adventure, for new challenges and opportunities, and for dreams fulfilled and to come. Roseanna said it best in the very first paragraph of this year's holiday letter. She writes, on a summer afternoon, as a young girl on a farm in Ohio, I would lie in the grass on a hillside and watch the airplanes fly over. They would fly low enough that I would imagine the pilot could see me lying there. And I would create a story in my mind that one day a very handsome pilot would land his plane and sweep me away to places I'd only read about in my geography books and lands I had yet to imagine. Then Roseanna goes on to talk about her Aunt Audrey in faraway California. Her grandfather, Ross, who immigrated from Italy. Her father, who decided Roseanna and her sister should have the opportunity to visit another state, and so he drove them across the border to West Virginia. About her British pen pal, Pam, and a high school friend who encouraged her to take French to better prepare her for college admission. And Roseanna reveals that she had not considered going to college at that point. So fast forward, 36 years, and now we have those dreams fulfilled. Here's just a brief summary from Roseanna's letters. Traveled many times to California, visited the village of her grandfather in Italy, met her pen pal Pam in England, welcomed her mother and brother to Annie Castle, traveled to London and Paris with brother Robert, sipped wine with the Duke of Northumberland and danced in a traditional ceilidh, walked Hadrian's Wall, trudged up Mount Fuji, studied Ikebana in Japan, kissed the Blarney Stone, studied Mayan culture in Guatemala, a safari in Africa, Hemingway's home in Havana, Anne Frank's house, snorkeled in Cozumel, the pyramids of Cairo, the Blue Lagoon in Iceland, a bullfight in Seville, the Blue Mosque in Turkey, smoked a hookah, but not in the mosque. Soared above Steamboat Springs in a hot air balloon and walked the suspension bridge over Eagle Canyon in Canada. And although she didn't mention them in her letter, I'm sure Roseanna has also been to New Munich, New Prague, New Ulm, New London. Roseanna, you indeed have and are living your dreams. You're not your childhood dreams, but not just your childhood dreams, but dreams you have created for yourself and your family and your students. Now, just a bit about Roseanna, the consummate professional. Jeff already noted Roseanna's work on campus: professor, scholar, advisor, curriculum developer, internship coordinator, international studies advisor, department chair, university administrator, and the list goes on. I served as department chair when Roseanna was hired. As department chair, you get a pretty good read of your colleagues' capabilities and character. I view Roseanna as a curriculum generalist. She likely has taught or could teach the full range of the department's coursework. Roseanna was dependable and always willing to, excited to take on a new task. I appreciated her problem-solving approach, her collaborative style, and even more so, Roseanna is a person I could trust. Roseanna, thank you for your support that you have given me over the years. I also worked with Roseanna on the dedication of the Riverview building. It was apparent to me that Roseanna was the right person at the right time to serve as the department chair during the Riverview renovation. Again, her collaborative skills, her thoughtfulness, and dedication to the task helped make Riverview not only the new home for the department, she also understood the special significance Riverview had to the history of the campus. Riverview would not be the special place it is today without Roseanna's guidance. Now finally, I have to share with you that Roseanna has approached retirement with some uncertainty and trepidation. I had the retirement talk with Roseanna more than once, trying to assure her that retirement is fun. It's okay not to work. In fact, I told her I adjusted to retirement on my ride home. I in her shoes. I'll let you be the judge of Roseanna's readiness for retirement. Again, going to her holiday letter, Roseanna shared the following of what she did just this past year, characterizing it as a fun and educational travel year. Completed the Checkpoint Minnesota adventure, visiting 12 sites throughout the state. Reconnected with a friend in Mankato. A retreat in Sedona. Spent March school break with old grad buddy in Arizona. A Cubs spring training game. Tour of Seattle. An Alaskan cruise, train ride through the Yukon route to the Canadian border, brought granddaughter to Ohio to visit Brother Robert and hiked Whispering Woods, hosted Brother Robert for 4th of July at the Dollhouse, took a joyride on a friend's convertible exploring the fall colors, studying with Richard Moss at the House of Prayer in Collegeville, with daughter Colette, enjoyed the Women's Wellness Retreat, Beaver Bay, attended wedding of Brother Robert's daughter in Florida, and celebrated New Year's Eve in San Diego. Roseanna, I'm not even going to take a vote. I pronounce you ready for a retirement full of joy and adventure. Just follow your dreams and keep an eye on those flying planes overhead. A handsome pilot may just sweep you away to your next great adventure.
Hi everyone, I'm Wendy Bjorklund. I'm one of Roseanna's colleagues and she has been sort of a mentor to me. But nonetheless, when Jeff asked me to do this presentation, I thought, I'm not worthy to do this. But Roseanna, on behalf of the Department of Communication Studies, I would like to present you with this literally as a token of our appreciation for your years of service, along with Susanna's holding a scrapbook that is filled with letters and pictures and good wishes from us to you as you enter your retirement. So, you might want to give that to her. Okay, the fact that this is a piece, Lily, is appropriate, as you'll find out in just a moment. You have heard that already that it's impossible to summarize Roseanna's years of service in a half-hour program, and certainly I'm not going to do it in 5 minutes. So I'm going to focus on just 3 areas, which are her commitment to experiential learning, peacemaking, and to the Communication Studies Department. When I first came to St. Cloud State University, I was hired as a fixed-term faculty member, in part to teach a course that Roseanna had developed in interpersonal communication and conflict, oddly enough. She was not available to teach it because she had taken on the challenge of being a director for now CETL, then CTL. I don't remember what that acronym was. Roseanna already had a national reputation for her expertise in experiential learning, and I believe you had a vision for what you wanted to do at CETL in terms of professional development for faculty who were interested in experiential learning. For the next 3 years that I was still here, you had started before then, CETL offered, through Roseanna's leadership, many, many workshops on experiential learning, and I was, as a new faculty member, a willing learner in those workshops. And you changed forever the way I think about teaching and learning as a result. Within the department, Roseanna also was dedicated to experiential learning, and nowhere is that demonstrated more than in our internship program, which she developed. We're pretty proud of our internship program in our department, in part because it's more than just a stepping stone to a job or a career post-graduation for the students who participate in the program. Roseanna's vision was larger than that for what that program could be. For the students who participate in our internships, they are truly a capstone experience. They are challenged to take all of the theories and the communication skills that they've acquired during that time that they've been with us as our majors and minors and integrate them into a workplace setting. If you talk to our students after completing their internships, they all say, it was where everything came together for me. I really got to see how what I learned as a communication studies student fits into the real world, and I found out how prepared I am to go out into that. So thank you, Roseanna. That's a wonderful program. Along with her commitment to experiential learning, Roseanna is also committed to peacekeeping, thus the peace lily. She is a mediator, a conflict coach, a keeper of peace circles, and much more. And she has trained many others to engage in more constructive conflict interaction so that even if a conflict cannot be resolved, and so often they can't be, we can learn to manage it better so that we can live together in community with one another in a respectful way. She's been the mediator coordinator on campus. She worked tirelessly, if I can say the word, to help develop the applied relational conflict management minor, which is very popular in our department. She has trained many students, many of who are in this room, in mediation and worked with them to establish the student conflict resolution team. She was instrumental in getting the St. Cloud office of the Conflict Resolution Center established on our campus, kind of a coup. And she's led the effort to establish a graduate conflict management certificate program in our department, and hopefully someday we have the staffing to actually move that forward. Finally, and not last but not least, I want to address the commitment Roseanna has shown to our department, including its faculty, its staff, and its students. 3 times Roseanna raised her hand and said, "Pick me to be your chair." And we did. Who volunteers to serve 9 consecutive years in what is sometimes a very thankless job? Again, I think she had a vision for our department and was really determined that we become the very best we could. The very best we could be as individuals and as a department as a whole. Those were turbulent years filled with lots of change. We repaired relationships, we revised our curriculum completely, we coped with the restructuring of our university, and Roseanna, as we said before, supervised the renovation of Riverview and our subsequent move into that lovely space. So there's a lot of re's going on, revision, revising, restoring. Throughout it all, Roseanna saw the positives of those changes and challenged us to do the same, and provided the support we needed to make them happen. So Roseanna, okay, every time I walk into Riverview, I see your handprints on every surface. And when I sit in a departmental meeting, I hear your voice. So our department will be made much poorer indeed by your absence, but you have left behind a legacy for which we are very, very fortunate and grateful. So thank you for everything you've done for me personally and everything you've done for us as a department. And we want you to be happy in your retirement and in your new adventures. Thank you.
Stick around and maybe we can take, would you like to make some comments as well?
I'm sorry, what?
Would you like to make some comments? Please shoot.
I must. I can't wait to see what's in the purple book. Purple's my favorite color. Did you know that? Purple's my favorite color. First of all, I have to just thank all of you for doing it. It's just, my heart just warms my heart. I must introduce my brother who drove from Ohio to be here and surprise me, and my children who are here. Because without these people, you know, you can't have a successful career without the support and understanding of your family. So if you would please stand, there's my brother Robert. My son Brendan. So, first of all, thank you to the department for organizing this and putting this all together. I just can't believe how many wonderful, beautiful things you said, and I'm really touched. So thank you very much for that. It's so good to see so many of my students. So here's what I want to say. First of all, when I came here in that Ford Duster, pulling that U-Haul, I told my parents I would be back in a couple of years. I said, you know, I'll finish my dissertation and I'll be home. 35 years later, I'm still here. And it wasn't, I've never really been very good at math, so that's probably the reason I'm still coming. So obviously there was something about being here that had me want to stay. And some of you have heard me talk about the fact that I've thought of this university, St. Cloud State University, as a playground. This is my playground. And I've referred to St. Cloud State University as a playground. And I want to really make it really clear that I don't mean a playground in the sense of, you know, well, you just play around and take everything really easy. Obviously, it hasn't been the way I've been doing my playground work. But I'd like to just take a moment to kind of extend that analogy of the playground and kind of explain it. You know, kids on the playground take the playground pretty seriously. I mean, you do. When you're on the playground, you're there to play and to play hard. And on the playground, if you are anything like I was when I was a kid on the playground, you come to the playground, and the first thing you do is you go to the thing you like to do the most in the playground. For me, it was swinging. Right? Yeah. So, you know, go and jump on the swing, and the other thing I liked was that merry-go-round thing where you run around, you know, hop on and then ride a little bit, and then you run around and hop on and ride a little bit. Okay, so that playground was really fun, and you brought a certain set of skills to the playground. The swinging skill, the merry-go-round skill. And then you take a look around at the playground and you go, whoa, look over there, there's a double slide. I don't have one of those in my backyard. Or look over there, there's this jungle gym thing and these monkey bars, ooh. And the next thing you know, you're like stretching yourself a little bit. I'm gonna try those jungle bars, you know? I'm gonna try those monkey bars, those jungle gym, and I'm gonna see what I can do with that. And you're stretching yourself, and you're challenging yourself, and you're exploring these new things. A really good playground has lots of really fun equipment on it. And so, for me, St. Cloud State was that kind of a playground. Yeah, I came with a set of skills. Otherwise, I don't think Art would have hired me. But anyway, I came with a set of skills. And I brought those skills, and I kind of stretched them a little bit. See how high I can swing that swing. Oh, I can get a little higher. Oh, I can get that merry-go-round to go a little faster. But pretty soon, I'm finding all this opportunity to expand and stretch and learn and grow. Explore and learn about things I didn't even know existed, like what is an internship? And Art said, oh, well, Roseanna, we're thinking of to start an internship program. Okay, I think doctors do that. Well, I guess we're going to do an internship program. I'm going to figure that out. Oh, we think it would be really great if you know, would you like to apply to start this Faculty Center for Teaching Excellence? Sure, I can do that. Gosh, what is a Faculty Center for Teaching Excellence? So it was that kind of stretching and exploring on the playground, always finding something else there to grow, a new adventure. And on any playground, there's always those nicks and cuts and bruises and disappointments, and you fall down and bleed a little. There are bullies on the playground. There are those people on the playground that kind of think it'd be fun to push your nose in the dirt rather than play with you nicely. And all those disappointments, all those little nicks and bruises and hurts, they're all part of being on the playground. That's all part of playing on the playground. Now, I'm not going to talk about what those are. I'm not going to mention what they are because we're here to celebrate. But I celebrate them because they are part of what helped me to grow and be the person I am too. My mom used to say, it gives you character. Well, it gives you more than character. It really helps you build the kinds of skills and sensitivities and awarenesses that help you be a better player on the playground. But on the playground, you would not go to the playground if you didn't have the community of people to play with on the playground. How often we go to a playground by ourselves? It's really the bonding that you do with those other kids on the playground that really makes the difference in why you want to be on the playground. Sometimes it's those kids on the playground that help you build the fort. It's the kids on the playground before you who maybe left a fort half built that you can see the pieces of. And with the other people that are on the playground, you build a new fort from the old fort. The kids on the playground are the ones that call you forth, that push you a little higher on that swing, that get that merry-go-round to go a little faster. They're also the people on the playground, those kids on the playground, that you get the opportunity to help lift up so they can make the monkey bars themselves, even if you couldn't make it yourself. Or they're the ones that you can tease into, come on, you can do it, let's try the jungle gym. Let's face it, the playground wouldn't even be a fun place if it weren't for the people on the playground. For me, my colleagues and my students are the people in the playground. You're the ones I have bonded with. You're the reason I play so hard. And the ones who've gone before us, before me, who built part of the fort or a new piece of the fort that aren't here any longer, they're still part of what I'm on that playground too. So for me, there just wouldn't be a playground like the playground I've had here at St. Clair State if it weren't for the people, the kids on the playground. The thing about the playground is, when I was a kid, there was one thing I knew for sure. I wasn't allowed to be on the playground after dark. My mom was really clear that I needed to come home before dark. It's really interesting about the playground, because when you're a kid and you see the sun starting to set, you go, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go home pretty soon. Oh, let's do this one more thing. Let's do this one more fort. Let's do this one more piece of equipment on the playground. But eventually you see that you're gonna have to go home, and if you don't, your mom yells, Roseanna Gay, time to come home, and you know it's time to come home. You don't have any choice. You come home, you're dirty, you're sweaty, you are spent. You have played hard on that playground. And you are exhausted, but you're fulfilled, you're happy, you've had this wonderful day on the playground, dirty and sweaty, and mom looks at you and says, oh, God, you're going to sleep well tonight, Gay. She says to you. And you really are going to sleep well tonight. So that's how I leave this playground. I leave this playground sweaty and dirty and just spent, just fully and completely spent, because I've had like the most wonderful day on the playground. I've built the best forts. I've met the most wonderful people on my playground and have long-term relationships with them and wonderful memories on that playground. And I'm sweaty and dirty and I'm spent. And I'm going to sleep really well tonight. And then I'm going to find a new playground. Thank you so much, all.